Steelers Nation, how we feeling, man? You guys doing good this week, knowing that we actually get one whole week of a break, that we don't got to worry about stressful Steelers football this upcoming Sunday.
And it's early, too.
It is mad early.
Week 5, bro.
This has got to be probably the earliest bye week I can recall as a Steelers fan.
Probably since 2013, maybe. When they also had a week 5 bye week.
Yeah, after an international game, by the way, versus the Vikings. Only difference is that this year we actually beat the Vikings over in Ireland, which was a great game. I would probably say the most complete game by the Steelers all season.
I would have to agree, yes.
They're sitting good, 3-1. You know, considering how the season started, they're sitting really good right now, 3-1, top of the division. I know it's still early, but I got to put it out there, top of the division. And the Ravens and the Browns are sitting at the bottom, tied 1-3. So yeah, I would say the Steelers are sitting pretty good, man. The defense is actually starting to get things fixed up. They're getting guys back. They're turning the ball over. They're getting sacks. The blitzes are starting to come away with some plays, right? The offense, the running game got going. We'll see if they can just continue to build on this. The fact that they got the bye is a good thing because as a whole, as a team, they still got to continue to build upon what they just did versus the Vikings and, of course, the Patriots winning 2 straight. You also got to mention there's too many injuries with this team so early into the season. We are getting guys back. We got Derek Carmen back. We got Deshaun Elliott back, and we've seen what their presence are and what they can do for this defense. But everyone else is still a question mark even after the bye, which means, yes, the bye is a good time right now. Months ago, we probably wouldn't have said this. Week 5 is very early for a bye, but considering everything regarding the Steelers roster right now and the injuries, it's probably the best time for it to hit the Steelers at the moment. Yeah, we're going to have some guys that are still going to be out for a lengthy amount of time. We'll get into those guys. But after the bye, we should be getting certain characters back, more to the defense, more to the offense, which is definitely going to be necessary. I want to start off with the season where we actually suffered injuries at the beginning of the season. First of all, we suffered injuries at the end of preseason with Derek Carmen. He suffered a knee injury in the last preseason game versus the Panthers, and he was out the first 2 weeks. Thankfully, he has made his debut the last 2 games versus the Patriots and versus the Vikings, and you've seen that immediate, much-needed presence on the defense, what his impact has been in stopping the run, getting interior rush, and obviously the defense as a whole, man. Derek Carmen and his presence has got to be mentioned because it's obvious when Loudermilk or a very young, Y.A. Black were being inserted there. There just wasn't that much level of impact. There wasn't that much of a dominant presence there. You put in Harmon,
and you just feel it. You just see it in just 2 games. Even his first game, when he played versus the Patriots, he even said himself, he had a very limited snap count due to him coming back from his injury. And even then, with the limited snap count, you just saw his presence, you felt his presence, and it was very much needed for the defensive line, the front 7 in general. And then versus the Vikings International in Ireland, you still felt the same thing. And Harmon still came up big in some moments.
Yeah, same thing with Deshaun Elliott. He suffered an MCL sprain week 1 and missed the following 2 games versus the Seahawks and versus the Patriots. But he came back versus the Vikings and had one hell of a return. He had a tackle for loss. He had a sack. He had an interception. I think he had a forced fumble. He had a lot. Man, he was a massive contributing factor, and we know what Elliott can do. He was probably one of Omar Khan's greatest free agent signings just from last offseason.
And he got a pay raise for it.
As he deserved, and we've seen, what he can do and what his presence is and how much of an impact guy he really is at the strong safety position. Having Elliott back fully healthy is much needed. Easily our best safety on the team, and he's an absolute guy that we needed on that defense versus the Vikings. So to have him back, him be fully healthy with the bye as well, is a good thing to add. Those are 2 guys we got back, which is a good thing. Harmon, Elliott, we've seen what they've been able to do and how much that has helped the defense the last 2 weeks. And props to the defense and props to those guys. And props to coaching for fixing, certain areas where Keanu Benton's finally not at the nose. He's not playing the 0. He's more at the 1 or the inside 2, or he's there at the 3. And we saw what Keanu Benton did versus the Vikings, right?
Explosive game from Benton, man.
Things like that. What we saw the first 2 weeks were horrendous Steelers defensive football. What we've seen the last 2 weeks have been an improvement, and a lot of that is I got to give it to the coaching. I got to give credit to them, as well as what Harmon and Elliott have brought back when they've come back healthy. However, we are still suffering injuries. Although we're getting guys back, we're also losing a few. Alex Highsmith has been out the last couple weeks. He got injured, I believe it was week 2 versus the Seahawks. He suffered a ankle injury, which I believe was diagnosed as a high ankle sprain. He left that game very early, and he hasn't played since, which isn't a bad thing because a guy like Nick Herbig has really risen to his spot. He has really taken that opportunity. And Nick Herbig has been a phenomenal fill-in, and frankly, he could be the starter for this team all season if he had to be.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, just the 2 starts that he filled in for Highsmith, and he's made plays in both games. Like, Herbig is a stud. His brother said it, and Steelers Nation is saying it, and it's just evident on that football field. When Herbig is on there, and it doesn't matter where you put him. When Herbig's on that field, I mean, you just feel his burst, you feel his splash plays, you just feel how dominant he is for his position.
Absolutely. Now, because of the high ankle sprain, he is expected to miss 4 games. Now, that is still going to include games probably after the bye. So even with the week 5 bye, it's possible he might not be fully recovered to go versus the Browns, but he could return on a short week after the Browns game, but he could return on Thursday night versus the Bengals. If not, maybe Sunday night versus the Packers. Unless, of course, his injury is sped up a little faster. Maybe he does return versus the Browns. But getting Alex Highsmith back would be an add because then that just means him and Highsmith and Herbig can keep each other fresh, because the problem the Steelers had with those two last year is neither could stay healthy at the same time.
No.
When Highsmith was healthy, Herbig got hurt. The second Herbig got back healthy, Highsmith got hurt. And the same thing this season. They didn't play a lot of games together last year. In fact, Watt, Herbig, and Highsmith didn't play a lot of games last year. And you know the Steelers are just itching to use those 3 edge guys on the field at the same time. So I know a lot of people are going to advocate for trading Highsmith. I am one of them because we need a wide receiver too. And the injury to Calvin Austin, which we'll get into later, just adds to that.
Yes.
I don't think they're going to trade Highsmith during the season because they're going to want to keep him with what the Steelers have been doing all offseason, what their mission is this season, and what they want to add to the defense when all 3 guys are healthy at the edge position. They're going to keep him. Is he a trade candidate for after this upcoming season or this current season? Is he a trade candidate for this upcoming offseason? Potentially. Because I think a guy like Nick Herbig is starting worthy. He's younger, he's faster, he's cheaper, and could arguably be more healthy.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to trading away Highsmith, especially if it comes to the possibility of adding another player, specifically on the offensive side of the ball, like you mentioned, wide receiver. But you know the Steelers, you know they like Highsmith. There's a reason they extended him. And, I mean, when Highsmith is fully healthy, like, he is a very good football player. He can stop the run. He's a good pass rusher.
Yeah, let's.
Is he as splashy as Nick Herbig? Not exactly, but they're 2 different styles.
They are. And let's not pretend Highsmith isn't a good player. He is. He's a phenomenal run defender. He's one of our best when it comes to that position, and especially at the edge.
The Steelers are going to want to keep both. They're going to want to try to utilize both, while at the same time keeping the edge depth bolstered with Jack Sawyer as number 4 edge guy.
Right.
And Sawyer, because of Highsmith getting hurt, he's been getting more playing time. You've seen him more frequently with the defense, and Sawyer's made a couple good plays. He's made a couple good performances in a couple games.
Sure has.
So that's good on Jack Sawyer, but it just goes to show they want to keep that edge group fully stacked.
Absolutely.
They don't want to lessen it.
No, again, this could, the whole trade scenario, the whole trade talks could be something that is really starting to gain some fire, gain some noise during the upcoming offseason after this season. But, yeah, I'm sure the Steelers are going to want to keep those 3 guys. But getting Highsmith back will add more to the defense. When that is, it could be as early as the Browns game after the bye, but it also could be the Bengals game Thursday night or the Sunday night football game versus the Packers. So we'll see. But I think neither of us have an issue with Nick Herbig still filling in. He's been incredible the last 2 weeks.
Of course.
Joey Porter Jr. is another guy that got hurt week 1. He suffered, I believe it was a hamstring injury in week 1 and hasn't played since. I don't know if he's even practiced yet.
If I remember correctly, for the Vikings game, he was limited all week, but they didn't dress him.
Okay.
He wasn't dressed for that game. So, you know, that's a good sign that he's at least on his way to getting back onto the field and being healthy for what I would assume is the Browns game. But yes, he's been dealing with that hamstring injury, and that's been given, the opportunity's been given to a guy like Brendan Eccles.
Yes.
Who stepped in there, and Eccles so far within the first 4 weeks, I got to say, has been a hell of an ad and hell of a plus for the defense.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this past offseason as a whole, I would say Brandon Echols is definitely one of the better acquisitions they made because
And that's a necessary one at that, too.
yeah, because of the injuries. Because of Joey Porter, he's missed the last 3 games. It'll be 4 weeks with the week 5 bye. He could return versus the Browns, and I hope so because we're going to need him back because of the injury of Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey suffered a hamstring injury versus the Vikings, and according to Jerry Dulac, he's expected to miss several games.
Oof. Which is kind of messed up because we all know the fake hamstring injury into the gritty celebration he did when he returned the ball for a touchdown. Though it was taken back.
Yeah, and then I guess karma kind of bit Jalen Ramsey. The football gods have a weird sense of humor. He got set back with the same situation, except this time for real. And he's going to be out, according to Jerry Dulac, several games.
And apparently Ramsey wanted to get back out there, but the Steelers were like, no, we're not going to worsen it. And smart by the Steelers to do so.
So it seems like the duo of Ramsey and Porter outside is going to have to wait just a little longer. We got a little bit week 1 until JPJ got hurt. And then it seems like as JPJ starting to get back healthy with the help of the bye, Ramsey gets hurt right before the bye.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is the bye there. He's still going to miss several games because of the injury. And Brandon Echols, yes, he's been a great fill-in for JPJ opposite, right? Opposite of Slay, right? But now I think this is going to ensure that with JPJ back for the Browns game, I would imagine, Ramsey's out. Brandon Echols is going to fill in perfectly at the slot. That's what makes Brandon Echols such a great acquisition is not only is he a damn good football player, not only has he been making plays ever since filling in, he has that versatility where JPJ's been out the last 3 games, Echols fills in perfectly. Ramsey's out, Echols fills in perfectly. That's how strong the corner position is right now. And yeah, Brandon Echols suffered an injury versus the Vikings, but I believe it was severe cramps in his calves. But he said he's good to go.
That's good to hear.
He'll be good to go versus the Browns.
That's good to hear.
So he'll fill in for the nickel position just perfectly. Also to mention, Corey Trice and Dante Kent are eligible to return from IR following the bye week. So that could be more help coming for the cornerback position.
Which is something that, of course, the cornerback position is absolutely going to need.
Yes.
And Trice, that's extra outside depth right there. Kent, that's a special teamer that the Steelers could use for sure there. So that's just added depth that the Steelers are going to want and going to need for sure.
Absolutely. So yeah, it sucks that, we're suffering these injuries at the corner position. The bye was supposed to help getting some of these injuries back, and it will. We'll get JPJ back. We'll eventually get Alex Highsmith back, right? It just sucks that Ramsey got hurt. But thankfully, the corner is so stacked, and they got guys along the roster anywhere that are going to fill in just fine. They can't really replace the impact that Ramsey has made since being a Steeler. We've seen what Ramsey can do. Has he been perfect? No. Has he given up plays? Has he given up a score or so? Yes. But is he our best corner? Absolutely. So you can't replace Ramsey and what he does, but you got guys that can definitely fill in for his spot.
Yeah, they can fill in and do what they need to do, but I will say you will lose the impact of what Jalen Ramsey brings to that defense, to that side of the football.
Yeah.
Because when teams, of course, go up against the Steelers and they're going to be looking at key guys to go up against and try to stay away from, Ramsey has that impact level still.
Yes.
In his NFL career. So that's something that is going to be hard to really replace for a guy like a Brandon Echols. But as far as his level of play, I got confidence in the guy.
Echols is great. Echols has been a fine addition, a very good addition, actually.
I've seen barely any negative play from Echols.
I feel like Brandon Echols can be a starter all season if he has to be. That's how good Echols has been. So props to Brandon Echols, man. Yeah, like I mentioned, Ramsey's going to miss several games. We don't know what several means.
Could that mean a spot on IR?
I don't know.
Could that mean a spot on injured reserve?
As far as we know, the only report we've gotten so far is from Jerry Dulac. Nothing from Schefter or Rappaport or, of course, anyone from the Steelers organization because they're on a bye.
Right.
If we weren't on the bye and Tomlin had his normal time on Tuesdays, we get a little bit more information. We're not going to get that till probably next week. Unless we get something midweek from Schefter or from somebody else, right?
So it might be a bit till we get an exact time frame of like, okay, that's how long Ramsey's going to be. It's just several weeks at the moment.
Yeah, but the team's on a bye, so I wouldn't expect a legitimate update anytime soon. At least not until after week 5 of the NFL season. So hopefully after that we will actually get a little more of a definition of what several games is. But before we get into Calvin Austin's injury, because same thing of what he said about Ramsey, he kind of insinuated to Calvin Austin as well. Before we get into the Calvin Austin situation, because this is going to open up a whole nother can of worms, if you know what I mean. I want to thank the sponsor of today's video. Huge shout out to Prophet X for sponsoring with us for the NFL season. Prophet X is America's #1 sports prediction market where you can win real money predicting sports in 40 plus states. It is a peer-to-peer sports exchange where where users will play against other people rather than playing against the house. So you'll be playing against other people predicting other sports such as the NFL. We have all of the week 5 lines here. Thursday Night Football looks good. Brock Purdy's out, so we're good to see Mac Jones.
Yes.
At the Rams, and the Rams are looking good right now. So I'm personally going to go with the Rams. That's my prediction. We got the Vikings and the Browns. Dylan Gabriel will be getting his first career start.
What?
Yes. You didn't know this?
No, I knew. It's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, bro, they were really quick to bench Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
huh?
they couldn't wait to put in
so
third
much
round pick
so
Dylan Gabriel.
so much so Shedeur Sanders went quiet.
Very quiet.
Oh my God.
Very quiet. How immature, right? Now we know why he fell to the 5th round. Derek Coleman was the right pick, by the way. We got a whole slew of games, man. Broncos, Eagles could be a good one. Texans, Ravens. Lamar won't be playing. So that should be very interesting. Bucks, Seahawks, Lions, Bengals. We got a lot of good football in week 5, man. So you guys want to take any of these selections, feel free to do so. The great thing about Prophet X is they allow you to request your own odds. So yes, you can still accept these existing odds posted by the house or other players, but if you don't like those odds, request your own. And that's in regards to the money line, the total, the spread, anytime touchdowns, stats, anything in regards to that. So if you guys want to ride along with all that, feel free to go to ProfitX.co. Use the promo code SteelTwins and claim up to $200 in profit cash on all plays for the first 30 days playing on the site. Again, that is ProfitX.co. Use the promo code SteelTwins when signing up. Huge shout to ProfitX for sponsoring with us on this video.
Yes, sir.
Calvin Austin.
Oh, boy.
Calvin Austin, man, he had a great week 1 and has kind of been a little quiet lately.
Outside that touchdown versus the Patriots.
Yes.
Which was the game winner, basically.
Yes. But he unfortunately suffered an injury, and that's the one position we didn't need an injury from, which was the wide receiver position. Thankfully, it's not DK, because if we have, knock on wood, DK get hurt, God, we're screwed.
Yeah.
We are screwed.
Boy, are we.
We can't scheme our tight ends in the passing game, and we have no one else at the receiving position. So thank God it's not DK, but it still sucks to see the injury for Calvin Austin, because Calvin Austin is one of my favorite players on the offense. There's not a lot on the offense you can really put that favorite label on, but I like Calvin. I trust Calvin. I think we should give him more targets.
No, and the Steelers obviously have that trust in Calvin Austin. I mean, he's the most experienced wide receiver that's been with the Steelers for some amount of years.
4
now.
years now.
Basically, you know, he's got that trust, and the Steelers trust him and whatnot, and he's a very capable target. But he did get hurt in that Vikings game, so much so that Cornerback Pryor, he was seen leaving the game in an ambulance with his shoulder in a sling.
Yeah. And according to Jerry Dolock, same thing he said about Jalen Ramsey. He's expected to miss several games. I don't know what specifically several means, but it's not good for the wide receiver position. So what the heck does that mean for the Steelers at wide receiver 2? Calvin was the wide receiver 2. Who's the wide receiver 2 now? He's not going to play versus the Browns. Who's the wide receiver 2?
Ben Skoranek?
It would have to be.
Because Roman Wilson, within 4 weeks, has
1 catch.
That's it.
His first career,
I'll put the one
and
up.
so far only catch. I will acknowledge my tribal chief for that, but that is awful, considering he also only had 3 snaps, which is the lowest of any offensive player last week versus the Vikings.
So we're looking at 9 snaps week 1, 22 snaps week 2, which a lot of that was garbage time because we lost. 9 snaps in week 3 and 3 in week 4.
Yes. Every game it is dwindling down.
I mean, like, I don't know what Roman's exactly supposed to do with very limited snap count on the offense
Now,
to really get his talents out there.
Yeah, the only explanation I have with him getting only 3 snaps versus the Vikings is the running game was going so good that they ran a ton of 12 personnel, 12 jumbo, especially with Darnell and, Spencer Anderson. Right?
A lot of Darnell.
Darnell saw almost 50 snaps, which is far and away more than any other tight end on the roster.
And listen, that was the game plan, and if the game plan was working, then you're not going to take Darnell out of it. No. He's obviously our best run blocker.
But even then, Ben Skoranek, Scotty Miller saw more reps than Roman Wilson. For one reason or another. Maybe it's because of I get the blocking situation for Ben Skoranek. Maybe same thing for Scotty. I think Roman can block. We don't have enough to see that, but he's shown the effort. You know, we've seen what he can do in college in Michigan, which was a run-heavy offense. I think he's got the tangibles to block, but they're not giving him enough reps, which I don't know why, but there's got to be a point where you're not limiting him no more. This isn't easing him in. He's healthy. He's ready to go for once.
Yeah.
Give him the reps, but they're not.
Yeah, there should be no limitations in regard to Roman Wilson, because after you trade away George Pickens, you know, like the idea a wide receiver was DK, Calvin, and Roman Wilson. That was the idea. And Roman Wilson, you know, he was basically a man that stood out in training camp. He built that chemistry with A-Rod. He was very good in preseason. He was a heavily targeted wide receiver throughout preseason.
Sure.
But in the regular season, he's hardly getting the opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. You draft him in the 3rd round. He's finally healthy. He's ready to go. How can you see exactly what you have in your 3rd round pick from last year if you're not giving him the reps?
Yeah, I don't get it. It's honestly, I know it's still early, but it's really making that pick look very worthless if you're not giving him the opportunity. It's nothing against Ben Skoranek and Scotty, because I think they're underrated receivers. I love what Ben Skoranek can do. He's a good football player and everywhere you want to play him. Yeah. He's a solid receiver, phenomenal blocker, incredible special teams asset. Scotty Miller, Scotty too out. He's got the speed. He's got the slot ability, right? You can get him on the cross routes. He's got some yak to him. But you drafted Roman for a reason. Play the guy. And the Steelers at some point are going to have no choice but to, because now Calvin is out. Now, that could also mean they're just going to run a ton more 12 with Jonnu and Muth, or Jonnu and Washington, or God forbid, Jonnu and Hayward. Maybe they run 13 with a variation of all those tight ends, and those are your targets for the fill-in of a wide receiver too. But even still, I think that's not giving a guy like Roman Wilson the opportunity, when in reality, I think you should give him the opportunity. So, realistically, who is our wide receiver two come the Browns game? I would think it's going to be Skoranek. If not him, probably Scotty. Then how many reps is Roman going to get over those guys? You got to imagine he's going to get an increase just because Calvin's not there.
You would think so, but just based off, you know, the snap count from the Vikings game, Roman's kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah.
Jar. I mean, like, he should be given the opportunity. He's like, if there's a time for Roman to be given an opportunity, it's when Calvin Austin is out, especially if the Steelers don't trade for a wide receiver or aren't looking to add another wide receiver to the roster to replace Calvin. This is Roman's chance. This is Roman's opportunity.
Yeah.
Especially versus a Browns team. Like, that's the time. That's the game where you look at Roman and like, listen, we drafted you. We like your talents. You're a young guy. You're a young stud. Got all the potential in the world.
But this is what Zach Asani, this is the Steelers wide receiver coach, this is what he had to say about Roman Wilson. There's no Romans in the doghouse or anything. Roman's doing just fine. We just happen to be pretty good at tight end and wide out. And what we're doing is running the ball. I was flabbergasted by that statement, because where are we pretty good at wide receiver?
Yeah,
the only healthy receiver we have that's
credible
is DK.
Credible consistently.
Otherwise, how are we pretty good at wide out? And how are we pretty good at tight end when I think Jonnu leads the tight ends in receptions with what, 13, 14? How many receptions?
What, two
for not
14? Not even 70 yards.
Yeah. They're not getting the ball either.
No, and Pat's non-existent. Like, absolutely non-existent. Like, Pat ain't doing nothing.
Pat Frymuth is got to be one of the most expendable players on this roster. It's unbelievable. So I don't know what Zach Asani's trying to say or what he's trying to throw at people, but
Jonnu Smith has 14 catches for 71 yards with that touchdown week 1. And Pat Frymuth's got 7 catches for 65 yards.
We're paying him $12 million a year.
We're paying both tight ends $12 million a year.
Wow.
For that.
Well, it's either we're going to get them the ball more, we're going to involve them more in the passing game with Aaron Rodgers, or someone's got to step up a wide receiver. Could this mean a trade? Obviously, this has been a topic of discussion for, I feel like, a year and a half now.
It has been.
Almost 2 full years we've been into the trade discussions for a wide receiver. We thought we had it filled when we traded for DK and we had Pickens, but we traded Pickens because he's immature. It's not a level of his talent. Everyone knew how talented he was.
Yeah, just watch the Sunday night game versus the Packers.
It's just, bro, you're not in it 110% every time, so why are you here? That's why they traded.
And now here we are again talking about, like, who's available to trade. Who could be available to trade?
Bro, obviously Tyreek Hill's not no more because his knee is all kinds of messed up. All kinds of messed up. He might never be the same person ever again.
He probably won't, dude. He probably won't.
He's going to be out for a long time. So Tyreek's not an option. Chris Olave, I keep hearing, is getting thrown out. I love Olave. If the Saints keep losing, I think they ought to just do it and rebuild completely.
I don't know how the Saints are really going to start winning.
They're not.
I'm just being real. The Saints aren't a good football team.
They're not.
And I don't know what Kellen Moore's vision is for the future.
I don't know either.
Honestly, it's best for them to just completely scrap everything and just rebuild. Just get whatever capital you can from some of your best players.
But the thing with Chris Olave is he has had, I think, 6 or 7 concussions since entering the NFL.
So that's the injury concerns with Olave. Talented guy, very, very good wide receiver, very good football player.
But one more concussion and his brains might be scrambled. No disrespect. It's probably not the best trade candidate. You know what I'm saying? It's like if the Steelers were to trade for Tua, it's like, yeah, sure, but bro, you got so many injury concerns.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it really worth what? Unless it is stupid cheap, right?
Yeah, maybe they take a 2027 7th rounder. If they could just snag him away like that.
Obviously, there's Jacoby Myers, who's still being thrown out there. He hasn't signed an extension yet. He's there every day. He's doing this in the most professional manner that anyone could recollect in years for someone that wants out or wants a new deal, right?
He wants an extension. That's what he wants.
So could the Steelers make a move for him? Could they be more forced or pressured to make a move for a guy like Jacoby Myers, who I think is the prototypical wide receiver 2 in the NFL? I think he'd be a great addition. But is that going to be within the next couple of weeks? Is that going to be at the deadline, the trade deadline, that is? Lord knows. But it sucks that Calvin's hurt, and we're left with such an unreliable option at wide receiver 2. Ben Skoranek, Scotty Miller, Roman Wilson are your options. Not really the best. I'm all for giving Roman the opportunity, and probably out of everybody, he's probably your best bet at this point. I think Skoranek and Scotty are good receivers. It's just I'd rather give Roman the chance. And if he doesn't show up, then Skoranek, Scotty, you guys are up.
Yeah.
But I feel like a guy like Skoranek, his role is a little more flexed out in regards to every asset of the team, where he sees a lot of special teams time. Are the Steelers going to want to put a guy like him at wide receiver 2 when they know how valuable he is at special teams? So does that mean Scotty gets more wide receiver 2 reps, or does he just see slot reps in 11 personnel and then Roman's the receiver 2? They could definitely run a ton of snap formations or snap shares in regards to any of that. I'm sure they're going to entertain any mismatch or any way if they want to involve those guys onto the roster or into the offensive scheme, as they should. But somebody's got to step up.
Big time.
It'll be interesting to see what the Steelers do or how they're going to fill for this loss of Calvin, because right now I think Calvin's loss is pretty significant because we just don't have that reliability yet.
No, we don't.
With Calvin, I think we do. He's not the greatest wide receiver 2, but I think he's reliable enough.
He can fill that void. He can fill that position.
Yeah.
Is he the ideal guy? Maybe not in some people's eyes, but he's a guy that has no problem filling that role and just doing what he needs to do.
Absolutely.
And he's proven it time and time again. Losing Calvin, it hurts because now you don't have a dependable wide receiver 2 or a guy that can fill in for wide receiver 2. So somebody, if the Steelers don't trade for somebody, whether that's Myers, Olave, I'll throw out an Alec Pierce of the Colts. I'll throw out an Allen Lazard because of the A-Rod connection. I don't want Lazard I prefer Pierce. I think Pierce would be a fine addition. I think it'd be a very good wide receiver too to add upon. But if they don't trade for a receiver, then no doubt about it, someone's got to step up.
Sure.
And I feel like that opportunity should be given to Roman because there's no excuse to not give Roman that chance.
Yeah, and let's put it this way. If Roman doesn't see a significant increase in reps, what does that say about their faith in him or his selection as a whole? You know, there's no better time for Roman than now. So, depending on what he does or his impact or the snaps he gets, I think that's really going to speak volumes.
Yeah.
It's a big opportunity for him, and I'm going to root for the guy because we need someone to step up there, but we'll see if the Steelers give him the chance, man. As for anyone in the wide receiver room, we need everybody to step up. I think they're all going to share, an amount of responsibility at that position. Same thing with the tight ends, but can we even get the tight ends involved?
Listen, if nobody steps up at wide receiver too, then yes, utilize your tight ends.
Just put Darnell out there. We'll be fine.
I mean, you got a crowded tight end crew outside of Connor Hayward. No disrespect, he's just not a good receiving.
Why is
tight
he here?
end. You got 3 quality, capable tight ends. I mean, there should be no reason to limit them.
You know what? I'll even throw this out there. Flop out Joe New out there. He's got the athleticism to play out wide.
Or you know what? You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Warren's healthy, if he's good to go for the Browns game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kenneth Gainwell out there for some wide receiver snaps.
Absolutely.
Because they've experimented that in preseason, and they love his receiving ability.
Yeah, he's got a receiving background from his Memphis days.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the situation they go. And
Yeah.
Gainwell stepped up big time for Warren as a rusher. And we know what he can do as a receiving back.
Absolutely. I mean, they got strength in numbers. It's just a matter of how they're going to, fulfill this spot here.
How will they utilize it to the best of their abilities?
Should be interesting. All I know is they got a whole week to get things going. They got a whole week to kind of, I suppose, scheme up a way to fulfill that role, to get guys involved. They got a little bit of an advantage this time around. One more injury to discuss is Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren was a game-time decision versus the Vikings with a knee injury and obviously wasn't cleared to play. Thus, Kenneth Gainwell got to start, and he had an incredible game, over 100-plus yards of total offense and 2 scores.
Yep.
Gainwell had a great game, and that's a lot of props to what he did, to the line, to what Anderson and Darnell were able to do. More of them involved, then obviously the run game is going to just continue to expand. And I think having Warren back and getting Warren back is going to make the run game more explosive because Warren is just that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Gainwell proved versus the Vikings he can be that guy too, but Warren is just like an extra bolt of lightning ready to go out, right? So once we get Warren back, that's going to be good. I'm hoping his injury isn't too severe to the point that he'll be out versus Cleveland. I don't think it will be. If it was a game time decision versus the Vikings, I'm sure that with the bye he should be ready to go versus the Browns,
Right.
at Heinz Field. So that will be another positive that we will be getting Jalen Warren back. So we got Derek Harmon back. We got Deshaun Elliott back. We will be getting Jalen Warren back. We will be getting Joey Porter Jr. back and potentially even like a Corey Trice, right? But we are going to lose Jalen Ramsey and Calvin Austin for now, which sucks. And Alex Highsmith still to be out probably a game or so.
Yeah, that's to be determined, yeah.
So even though we are getting guys back before and after the bye, we will still be without some certain faces. So this team isn't completely healthy, but if I had to say that the bye week is coming at a good time, it's coming at a really good time. It's mad early. It's week 5. Like we have 13 straight games after this.
Yeah, it's going to be a long stretch, but from an injury standpoint, just what the Steelers have already dealt with, like yes, you probably couldn't ask for a better time for these guys to heal up.
Yeah, I guess it's a blessing in disguise for this team right now, seeing that. Yeah, we're gonna be in for a long haul, a very long haul. Most of our division games are in that stretch. We got a couple primetime games in that stretch. The schedule is only going to get tougher. So the healthier we can get, the better. Then this team should be prepped for such action.
Big time, bro.
For hopefully to come out and play some really good Steelers football. But the fact we're going to be getting some of these guys back sooner and some maybe later than some others is still a good thing. Let's just hope that, even after the bye, this team can stay as healthy as it can. Steelers got some depth in a lot of good areas like corner and like edge and, safety to fulfill for certain guys being out, but still getting all those guys at full strength will help this team continue to build off of what they've done the last 2 weeks, which could be an exciting factor as the schedule starts off with the Browns, then with the Bengals on a short week on Thursday night. Then we got that long little mini bye until we hit probably our toughest bet right now, which will be the Packers on Sunday night. Hopefully by that time, the team will be as healthy as it can be.
Yep.
But that's it for the bye week so far, man. Is the Steelers are looking good right now. They're sitting pretty top of the AFC North 3-1. They're on 2 straight solid victories. A really good one versus the Vikings for sure. And it looks like they're going to be getting healthier. So far, good things coming to start off with the first quarter past us of the NFL regular season, and now the bye, and then obviously just a unbelievably long stretch. Hope the Steelers come as healthy as they can, as prepared as they will be. So let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. How you guys feeling during the bye? How are you guys feeling about the Calvin Austin and the Jalen Ramsey injuries? Who would you rather have them fill in? Would you trade for somebody? Would you trade someone on the team away to go grab somebody to fill in for these spots? Let us know your guys' thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Always love to hear your guys' discussions. As always, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Follow us on the socials. They are down in the little ticker below and the overlay below, obviously down in the description box as well. So follow us on there, and we'll see you in the next one. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!